Okay, so welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. Today, we're going to tackle something I think we can all relate to.
Yeah.
It's this idea that sometimes good people, they're the ones that get tricked.
Right.
Why is that?
It's kind of a head scratcher.
It is a head scratcher,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
So we're going to use this excerpt called The Paradox of Kindness to kind of unpack that a little bit today.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And, I think a lot of us listening have probably been there, right? Like you try to be a good person and then boom,
You get taken advantage of.
you get taken advantage of.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the deal?
Yeah.
So let's dive into this.
Yeah, let's dive in.
So this excerpt, it starts out by saying that, good people, they're more forgiving,
Mm-hmm.
less suspicious,
Yeah, absolutely.
right? They want to give people second chances. They're always looking for the good in others.
Right. They're looking for that silver lining.
Yeah, they're the benefit of the doubt type of folks.
Yeah. Always give somebody the benefit of the doubt. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that. I think that, for some people, it's just their personality.
Yeah.
Some people are just naturally more trusting.
Right.
And for others, maybe it's the way they were raised.
Sure.
Or maybe it's, their culture.
Yeah.
Certain cultures are just more trusting than others.
So it's like you're kind of set up that way in a lot of ways, right?
Right, exactly.
And so then, you talk about balance.
Yeah,
Like, at what point does forgiveness go too far?
that's the question.
When are you no longer being compassionate and you're being, a pushover?
Right.
Is there a word for that? I don't know.
I mean, I think there are a lot of words for that,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's the paradox.
Right.
Right. That's why it's called the paradox of kindness, right? Because on the one hand, forgiveness is great.
Yeah.
It's a virtue.
Yes.
But on the other hand, you have to protect yourself. You can't let people walk all over you.
Right.
And so I think that's the real challenge.
So how do you find that balance?
Right.
I mean, how do you know?
And one of the problems is that, like you were saying earlier, a lot of times we miss the warning signs.
Yeah. I was just going to say that. Like, I've totally been there
Yeah, me too.
where I'm like, man, looking back, the signs were all there,
Totally.
but I just missed them.
Yeah.
So is that in this excerpt?
Well, yeah, and the excerpt kind of talks about how those warning signs are missed,
Yeah.
And I think one of the reasons is that, manipulators, the people who are trying to take advantage of us, they know how to target good intentions.
Right.
They know how to make us feel guilty.
Ugh, the guilt trip.
Oh, the guilt trip. It's a classic.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
And it works,
Ugh, that's the worst.
Because good people, they don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
No.
They want to be helpful. So they're more likely to fall for it.
Yeah.
And then another thing they do is they make all kinds of promises,
Yeah.
but they have no intention of keeping them.
Right.
It's all just smoke and mirrors.
So they're using our empathy against us.
Exactly.
Wow.
They're playing on our good nature.
Okay, so this is where the excerpt really starts to get interesting to me because it doesn't just explain the problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we all know we can get taken advantage of, but it talks about like the value of being good, even with that risk.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you balance, right? Like how do you reconcile that desire to be a good person and that possibility of being tricked?
Yeah, it's kind of like a catch-22, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think the excerpt kind of says, it's not about becoming cynical or jaded.
Right.
It's not saying that you should just give up on being a good person.
Right.
But it is saying that you need to be more discerning.
Okay.
You need to develop a sharper sense of judgment.
So it's like informed compassion.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Informed compassion.
Yeah.
You're still compassionate,
Yeah.
but you're also informed.
Yeah.
You're aware of the risks.
Right. Okay.
And you're taking steps to protect yourself.
So what would that look like practically?
Well, for one thing, pay attention to actions, not just words.
Right.
Anybody can say all the right things,
Yeah.
but it's their actions that really matter.
Okay, so actions speak louder than words.
Exactly. And another thing is, trust your gut.
Oh, yeah.
If something feels off, it probably is.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to set boundaries.
Yeah.
You have a right to protect yourself.
So you keep coming back to this word, balance.
Yeah, I think that's really the key takeaway here. You need both trust and discernment.
Right.
It's like walking a tightrope.
It is. It is.
You need to be able to trust people, but you also need to be able to see through the BS.
Yeah.
And like any skill, it takes practice.
Yeah, it does. It does.
The more you observe people, the better you'll get at recognizing the nuances of human interaction.
Well, this has been super insightful. Thank you so much for breaking all this down.
Yeah, no problem.
To everyone listening, this has been our deep dive on the paradox of kindness. We hope you found it helpful. And we want to leave you with one last thought,
Yeah.
okay? So if kindness is inherently valuable, like we've been saying, does that mean that there is a cost to it? What are the trade-offs, right? When we choose to be good, even in a world where that can be taken advantage of, think about that and, think about your own experiences and look at those through this new lens. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.